Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Bletcha alongside Gentlemen. We're just gonna dive right on in. This was a big night for SmackDown Live more than anything else, and boy, we started it with the big one. Yes, this was the moment we all were waiting for, as this was the moment where history was possibly going to be made. The undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship of the world were on the line. The Usos looking to become the all-time record holders. The longest reign in WWE history was on the line as they went up against the New Day. The defenders of that record, because they were the longest reigning, beating Demolition's record. If the Usos won it, they would break the record. And guys, it happened. The Usos successfully defends the title. Um, I don't have a time of the fall because for some odd reason, um, ProWrestling.net's acting wonky with me tonight. It's not letting me get my SmackDown, so I'm going through 411mania.com. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to inspire it. 4 stars. This was exactly what it needed it to be. A hell of a fight, a hell of a match. When these two teams went at it, you could not go wrong with this battle. Look, this was exactly what it needed it to be. History was on the line. The New Day were the perfect team to be defending their own record, and the Usos found a way to get the job done, and they won it all. They now will hold the all-time record. The longest reign in tag team championship history will be theirs. Anthony Florio, what a match. The greatest rivalry adds yet another chapter, and this one, whoo, you could easily call it fight of the night. 4 stars for me. An incredible jump off to SmackDown Live tonight.
I'm stuck. Florio, where are you? Florio, where are you? Hello, where are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Anthony. I got you.
Okay.
No,
Um.
you're good. I got you.
All right. My thing froze on me like it always does. So you could not find a time of the fall, huh? Couldn't get one. Um. Well,
Normally the site that I normally go to give me the time of the fall is prohibiting me from doing it.
all right. I'll handle it. All right. No, not a problem. Anthony's got you. I got you covered. You know me. So all right. Let's see what I can get for you. I got 23:50. That's what I got. Time of the fall was 23 minutes and 50 seconds. That's what I got. I was able to get in there. So all right. MF, with all due respect, I think you underscored this bout quite a bit, to be honest with you. Michael Bullock and we had our SmackDown chat tonight, and Bullock and I made a pact. We agreed on this one, and we didn't give a damn what anybody else thought. We're gonna call it like we saw it. As far as we are concerned, this was a 5-star classic. Yes, and we're not ashamed to say that either. All right, where to begin? Two teams with extraordinary in-ring chemistry and a legacy of show-stealing matches. They wrote the latest chapter in their historic feud in a fantastic opener, a red-hot crowd, at the Gamebridge Field House in Indianapolis, hung with every high spot, near fall, and false finish, elevating the overall quality and rewarding the combatants for their hard work. The hot tag from Kofi Kingston to Xavier Woods, the near fall off of a double top rope splash by the champions, and the tease title change off the midnight hour by the challengers had the fans in Indy on the edge of their seats. This was a fantastic match between two teams that are as responsible for preserving the art of tag team wrestling in this generation. Others get their due, but it often feels like we take the Usos and the New Day for granted, perhaps because of the amount of television time and exposure they have received over the years. With much hype surrounding the contest and an abundance of historical talk, they rose to the occasion and delivered another classic in a long line of them. This was fantastic, and that's no hyperbole. You notice the bloodline, you notice Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. They were shown watching from backstage. The pressure on the Usos to retain and make history. Michael Cole on commentary gave Big E props for his involvement in New Day's historic run as champions. Jey Uso covered his ears as the fans chanted Sammy, refusing to acknowledge the honorary use. Xavier Woods exploded into the ring off a great hot tag from Kofi, and then Xavier kicking out of the double splash from the Usos and Jimmy narrowly kicking out of Midnight Hour were two effective false finishes that totally got the crowd to bite. Bullock and I, during our SmackDown chat tonight, we enjoyed every second of this, from the opening bell to the end bell. This was absolutely fantastic. 4 stars is not a good rating for this at all, with all due respect. This, in our opinion, was a 5-star classic. That's our story, and we are damn sure sticking to it. So, absolutely fantastic. I'll even go as far as to call this the TV match of the year. That's how great this was. So, absolutely amazing. And now the Usos, come Monday, will be the new record holders for the longest tag team title reign in WWE history, because Monday will take it up to 484. It's 481 now, but come Monday, that'll be the magic 484. That will surpass 483, which is what the New Day were before this. So, congratulations to the Usos. Well-deserved win, clean win, no bloodline BS interference, like their matches have been known for. And I am beyond glad that I am so glad that Triple H and everybody let these two teams go out there and have the match that they are beyond capable of having. And they gave them the proper amount of time, almost 24 minutes. Absolutely fantastic. And we would have given it 5 even if we were in the arena. That's all there was to say on that. So, incredible match, TV match of the year, no doubt about it. So, and before I give it to Bullock, there's just one thing left to say. I'm going to make a bold statement. I'm going to make it here now and to the point. The Usos are the greatest tag team of all time. There, I said it. So there isn't much more for me to say on this. Michael Bullock, Phenom, come on in. We hung on every moment of this match during our SmackDown chat tonight. And I gave it 5 stars. I already know that you're going to give it 5 because that's what we agreed on during our chat, but give us your reasoning for it. Wow.
I mean, man, what a way to kick off SmackDown with a match like this. But then again, when you've got two of the best in the Usos and the New Day in the ring, they always deliver a match that everyone will remember. And this right here was a no-doubter on this one. 5 stars for me. Fight of the night. I mean, there was no bloodline BS, no interference from any members of the bloodline, no clunky finishes. It was a clean win for the Usos. If any of that happened, then perhaps I would lower it to 4.5. But because of all the Shakespearean drama, the Usos winning it clean, that's the reason why I gave it 5. I mean, they deliver. I mean, but then again, you got to give props to both teams. I mean, they deliver another awesome match that everyone is going to be talking about for a long time, and like you said, come Monday, they're going to surpass the New Day as the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. I mean, when we first heard of the Usos when they came into WWE, we didn't even know what to make of them.
Yeah, because they were like, they came in like, like rich kids, like rich kids, almost preppy, almost. And, oh, look at them now.
Yeah, yeah. You were thinking like, oh, they're just going to be another team that's just, I mean, that could do good things, but never can be that level of greatness. But fast forward to now, and look at where they are. And I'm with Anthony Florio. I don't care what anybody says. If anybody wants to debate me on it, be my guest. The Usos are the greatest tag team of all time. Better than the Dudley Boys. I mean, better than any other tag team I can think of right now. Because of the way, I mean, just because of that long run as champions. But man, oh man. Congratulations to the Usos, about to become the longest reigning champions in history, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see if I can pull up my camera. And I'm gonna do it just for them, because they are the ones. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, and with that said, we do indeed move on. Now we got a unique situation happening now. Now we have what they call the Smackdown World Cup tournament, where, and this is the thing. So, as many of you guys know, in about a week or so, the FIFA World Cup will begin. And one of the broadcasting partners is Fox Networks. Fox and FS1 and FS2 will be the home of the FIFA World Cup in the United States. For all the Spanish-speaking people, it will be on Telemundo, which is actually NBC Universal owned. They will be the homes of the FIFA World Cup. It'll be NBC Universal, and Telemundo will be hosting the FIFA World Cup in Spanish. Now, Fox talked to WWE about doing a World Cup style tournament with their wrestlers to incorporate with the upcoming World Cup. WWE agreed. So this tournament is a very special one. Yes, there is a World Cup type trophy at the end, but there's also something even bigger. The winner of this tournament will become the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship, and thus that winner will face off with Gunther, and it looks like the winner will most likely face off with them possibly at Survivor Series, depending on how the bracket breaks down and everything else. If there's enough time, and if they do this right, the final could actually be held in Providence, Rhode Island, and the next night at the Survivor Series in Boston will be that Intercontinental title match. So, high stakes for the winner. The first match of the tournament is Santos Escobar representing Legado de Fantasma, along with Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Zelina Vega. He went up against the artist formerly known as Shinsuke Nakamura. It is Mexico versus Japan. Mexico wins it. Ganó La Santos in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. He advances to the semifinals. Anthony Florio, 2 men. I know how much you love Santos. I know you got a lot of respect for Nakamura. This must have been a treat for you because I know you're very high on both men.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Hate to do this to you, MF, but I got to correct you once again. The semifinals are actually going to be in Providence in 2 weeks, not the finals. So that's what I heard. That's what they said on the show. They were promoting both semifinal matches for 2 weeks, which is the Providence show. So I don't think we're going to be getting the final unless they do it in one night. But I don't think they're going to do that. But maybe they have the final at Survivor Series. That's a possibility. But there's another thing that needs to be addressed. But we'll get to that in a moment. Regarding Shinsuke Nakamura, because WWE actually addressed this on the show tonight. Believe it or not, and we'll get to that in a moment. All right, 820. I'll give it about 3 stars for the effort. A competitive back and forth gave way to late match interference from the heels as the competitors and commentary team put over the numbers advantage Escobar and company benefit from. They did here as the distraction caused by Nakamura laying out Del Toro and Wilde at ringside allowed Escobar to win the match. Escobar looked impressive here, and Legado del Fantasma continued to establish itself as a force on Friday Night SmackDown. Beating Shinsuke Nakamura adds credibility to the faction and sets Santos Escobar up as a potential early favorite in this SmackDown World Cup tournament. With a little more time and without the pesky commercial in the middle of the match, this probably would have been even better. For now, it served its purpose in kicking off the tournament and legitimizing Escobar. Nakamura wiped out Del Toro and Wilde at ringside, and Escobar's Phantom Driver was equal parts dangerous and picture perfect from the top rope. So 820, I could give this in excess of 2.5 to 3 for the effort. And believe it or not, Michael Cole on commentary actually brought this up. He mentioned that, and MF, I would not be at all surprised if you know about this because you're usually on top of everything. Apparently on New Year's Day, 2023, Shinsuke Nakamura is going to fight the Great Muta.
Yes.
At this Budokan Hall.
Yeah, it's Budokan Hall, which is right outside of, it's right in one of those outside areas of Tokyo. And yeah, this was highly promoted. As many of you guys know, the Great Muta has announced that he will be doing a retirement tour. And the first guy that he's going to be facing off against is Nakamura. So yeah, this took the wrestling world by storm when they heard about this matchup. When they heard Muta versus Nakamura, that's when a lot of people were thinking, "Oh my God, is WWE about to go through are they about to open the forbidden door and start doing stuff?" And not only that, but I do believe Sheamus is also going to be going through the forbidden door very soon.
Wow. If WWE does what AEW's been doing, that would be something. But then again, with Triple H running things, it's very possible. I mean, we'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, I'm not at all surprised you knew about that, MF, because hello, it's Japan, because we all know you follow it religiously. So but yeah, that's gonna be something else. That's gonna be a sight, and two of the greatest Japanese legends of all time, and man, that's gonna be something. So so this was 2.5 to 3 for the effort here on this matchup, and so there isn't really much for me to say here. Michael Bullock, Santos Escobar, moving on in the SmackDown World Cup. He defeats Nakamura 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's good enough for about 2.5 to 3, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I mean, I think it's good enough for it to be 2.5 to 3 as well. I mean, yeah, nice win for Santos Escobar. I mean, against a caliber of Shinsuke Nakamura, and yeah, now he moves on to the semifinals in about 2 weeks' time, and we'll find out eventually who will face in the semifinals of that World Cup. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. It's your Swag.
Yeah, 2.5 stars, no doubt about it. It was definitely a shocking turn of events more than anything else. But I will say this: this was very, very, very interesting to see, and yeah, I mean it was wild. It was wild to see that coming out and the whole 9 yards. He does move on, and he'll be battling it out. In the semifinals, we don't know who he's gonna face off just yet, but we'll find out soon enough. All right. So next up we had was all right. So there was you could say a segment that it was Megan Mornett, and she was interviewing LA Knight, and LA Knight was you know freaking out over the fact that he wasn't invited into that SmackDown World Cup tournament. All right, fine, but then gets interrupted by, of all people, Bray Wyatt. The internet goes ablaze. LA Knight, Bray Wyatt, one on one. Ooh, ooh. Mm. I think, Mr. Knight, I think you're gonna be following the buzzards because I think you're about to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, oh my goodness. I let's just say I was a little anxious and I kind of got a little giddy because that's gonna be a hell of a fight. I must say that. I do. I have to. So next up we had was the six pack challenge, and this was to determine who was going to be the next in line for Ronda Rousey's uh, SmackDown Women's title, and the competitors were Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, Sonya Deville, Lacey Evans, Zaya Lee, and the winner of the six pack challenge in 12 minutes and the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship and will be facing Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series in Boston. Shotzi Blackheart gets the opportunity. Michael Bullock, oh my. I think a lot of people were a little disappointed that it wasn't Liv, but it's Shotzi. How do you feel about her getting the shot at the gold?
I'm actually good with it, and of course, Anthony Florio and I, when we had our SmackDown chat, and I even said that I just got this feeling that Shotzi was going to win this
I believe you
because,
had that one, Bullock.
yes, I did have it. And because here's the thing, guys. We've already seen Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. I mean, and we all know how we felt about that. And people would be like, well, what about Raquel Rodriguez? The two of them have already faced each other. I think it was a couple times. And you really think Sonya Deville, Lacey Evans, and Zia Lee were gonna win this and have a caliber match at Survivor Series against Ronda Rousey? I didn't think so. So that's why I felt that Shotzi was going to be the one to do it. And lo and behold, that's what happened. And yeah, so I'm going to give this about 3.25 for this one. Yeah, Shotzi wins this one, and now she's she goes to the Survivor Series in the biggest match of her career, where she gets the challenge for the SmackDown Women's title at the Survivor Series in Boston. I mean, it's one opportunity for her, but I think in the end, I think I got Ronda Rousey winning this one. I mean, as much as I would love to see Shotzi win it and finally get the biggest moment of her career, I think they're trying to. I think they're building Ronda Rousey as the top heel in the women's division right now on SmackDown. So 3.25, biggest win of Shotzi career, but it could lead to a bigger one at Survivor Series. As I give it to you, Fletch.
It is a nice win for Shotzi, a big moment for her. She's really gotten better, and her wrestling ability has really improved. I think it's a great thing that they're giving her that opportunity. I think it's great that she's getting the shot at the title. Um, we're just gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, this was a tough road, a tough haul, as they would like to say. But at the end of the day, I thought they did a really good job with it. So yes, I do believe it will go. This is going to be very interesting to watch, to say the very least. And yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add here, Anthony. Uh, I'll go three. Congratulations to Shotzi. She made history here, and she will now get like you said, it's going to be a dream scenario for her as she goes up against the reigning champion, Ronda Rousey.
I hate to say it, at Survivor Series, that thing's going to turn into a nightmare. I'll tell you that right now. But 3.25, teetering on 3.5 for this one. Second best fight of the night for me. A sometimes wild and chaotic, at other times disjointed and ugly match. Saw the story involving Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville continue, and Raquel Rodriguez teased some increased intensity before Shotzi delivered Never Sleep Again for the win and pinfall on Lacey Evans. Triple H has done some great things as the head of creative in WWE, including getting as many women on television as possible, but he really needs to focus on the SmackDown division and do a better job of building stars and stories. We have repeatedly seen multi-women matches determine the latest number one contender, and worse yet, they are usually matches featuring women who have been underwritten and underserved by the creative process. Shotzi winning is a great call, and hopefully is but the start of a sustained run for her. It would have meant more if there was even a scotch up build to the win or consistent on-screen appearances from half of the women involved. Yes, there are an ample amount of moving pieces for him to deal with as the overseer of 5 hours of television a week, but this is one area that could use some attention so that these matches mean more. Morgan and Deville rekindled their rivalry, with the former dominating the latter while continuing to showcase the burgeoning unhinged side of Liv. Cole did a solid job of reminding the audience of Shotzi and Rodriguez's recent history of tag team partners, explaining why they may be more inclined to help each other. And then Rodriguez produced a table from under the ring. She set Deville up for a powerbomb, but Morgan interrupted with a cross-body block. An awkward landing led to a botched spot that left all three women down. Yeah, don't think I didn't notice that botch, by the way. And then backstage, as Shotzi was celebrating, she was confronted by Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. And then Shayna Baszler putting Shotzi to sleep with a bit of a rear naked choke. I don't think it was the Kirifuda clutch that she's known for, but she put her down anyway, putting her on notice. And next week on Friday Night SmackDown, Shotzi goes one-on-one with Shayna Baszler. So we'll see what happens with that one. So biggest win of Shotzi's career to date. Could it lead to a bigger win at Survivor, to an even bigger win at Survivor Series? And no, I don't think so. I could see her getting at least a hope spot or two in that match. You know, a lot like what we saw with Logan Paul at Crown Jewel, where he had like 4 or 5 hope spots against Roman. But I could see Shotzi getting maybe 1 or 2 at the most. She'll definitely get a hope spot in there somewhere. But But at the end, I'm with you guys. I think Ronda will successfully defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shotzi. If Shotzi were to somehow shock the world and win the title in Boston, I mean, whoa. I mean, the rub that she would get from that to beat Ronda Rousey, that would be something. But let's be realistic. It's not happening. So 3.25, teetering on 3.5, second best fight of the night. Congrats to Shotzi. But MF, let's be realistic. That big dream of hers, it's going to turn into a nightmare at Survivor Series.
Well, we'll see. We'll definitely see on that night. Next up we had was Braun Strowman going up against Jinder Mahal. As expected, Braun Strowman advances 1 minute and 50 seconds. That was easy. It was an easy call there, no doubt about it. So Braun moves to the semifinal, and now he'll be facing off wherever that may be. And then there was supposed to have been a match between it looks like there was supposed to be a match. It looks like there was supposed to be a match between Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma, but
B-Fab and Zelina. It was supposed to be B-Fab and Zelina one-on-one.
And B-Fab and Zelina were supposed to be involved in it, but everything got halted because the Viking Raiders showed up and one other person showed up that we did not expect. Sarah Logan is back in the WWE, and she laid everybody to waste. Zelina Vega was smart. She hopped over the barricade wall and ran out of there. She knows what Sarah Logan's about. Unfortunately for B-Fab, she tried to pick a fight, try to fight, but to no avail. Sarah Logan, whoa. I mean, this was awesome. All right. Good to see Ivar back, because Ivar has been out with an injury for a while. But Sarah Logan, oh my goodness. What an impact she made here tonight. And 2/3 of the Riot Squad are back in WWE. Where's the third member? Where's Ruby? Come on. You know what? They haven't been using her lately in AEW, man. I mean, I think it's time to bring the Riot Squad back. Make them whole again. What do you say? So, I don't know, man. This is going to be crazy now. Do you guys want to get a quick thought, or you guys want to go into the main event segment?
Before we do that, MF, let me just. I know you want to see the Riot Squad back together. That would be something, but I don't see that happening, especially with the way Sarah Logan is now. I mean, I think that she's going to be with the Viking Raiders for the foreseeable future, and which is no surprise because she's married to one of them. So
yep.
So and you know, I used to make those little puns, those little jokes about her being the Viking wife. Well, now she literally is the Viking wife.
She really is the Viking wife now. Yes.
Oh, look at her. I mean, completely new look. She's barefoot and the whole 9 yards. Wow. But anyways, this was a hell of a reintroduction for the Viking Raiders. And Sarah Logan looked like a total badass here, presented with a haunting new look and completely immersing herself in it. This was better than anything we have seen out of this particular team to this point in their WWE run. With Triple H at the helm and seemingly understanding this act better than anyone before him, the trio should thrive in ways it has not been allowed to. And Michael Cole, feigning confusion as to who Sarah Logan was at first, put over the change in appearance and attitude of the former Riot Squad member. And that was very well done as well. So, yeah, this was fantastic. This was obviously more angle than match, honestly. The match never got off the ground. But nonetheless, the match was scheduled. The match was scheduled to be a one-on-one match with Zelina Vega and B-Fab, because you noticed Legado was not dressed to compete; they were wearing street clothes, and Joaquin Wilde was dressed up like friggin' Pee Wee Herman. For goodness' sake, did you see that outfit on him? He looked like Pee Wee Herman. I even told that to Bullock. No, I mean it. You got it.
No,
Did you see him?
I saw the photo. So no, you're right. I'm just
Pee Wee Herman like.
I'm just laughing because it did look like Pee Wee Herman, man. It did. Like you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, maybe he's a fan. I don't know. I mean, certainly wouldn't knock him for it. I mean, we all are. I mean, we grew up with Pee Wee's Playhouse and the movies, obviously, Big Top Pee Wee especially. But all kidding aside, I mean, wow, that's all there is to say on that. Sarah Logan, wow. She just put the SmackDown Women's Division on notice. I mean, her husband, I believe she's married to Eric, I believe, and Ivar. Oh boy, they are going to be a tough out. Let me tell you, they're going to be very hard to beat. And I think this is the best Sarah Logan's ever looked. And I cannot wait to see this Sarah Logan in action. So amazing. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, business has picked up big time. Sarah Logan with a completely new look. She literally is the Viking wife now. And oh boy, she just put the SmackDown Women's Division on big time notice tonight. Whoa.
Oh yeah, she definitely put the SmackDown Women's Division on notice. I mean, you saw it. I mean, a new look for her. I mean, she looks about she could be as dominant as she was in her first go around, but we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, she literally is the Viking wife now. With the Viking Raiders, I mean, the Viking Raiders were already dangerous, but now you add Sarah Logan to the mix, it's only going to make them even more dangerous. And yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, I once said that SmackDown really needs help with its women's division.
Well, you just got.
Yeah, indeed. What a jolt they got in Sarah Logan, and she looks so different than she was in her first run. And this is one I think you do not want to screw around with. So there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, and then we lead us into the main event. Obviously, Roman Reigns was gonna talk and cut a promo here and everything else, but then Butch and Rich Holland came out. Okay, that's fine, but then Sheamus came out and says, he's like, well, I'm done with this. I'm sick and tired of the bloodline. And tonight was the beginning of the end of the bloodline. Sheamus basically walked up, got in Roman's face, and the Brawling Brutes basically started brawling. Then Drew McIntyre showed up. He got into the fray. And I think there is one word that probably Anthony, Bullock, and myself were all thinking at this very same time when this brawl started. Bullock, hit it.
War Games!
War Games!
Exactly. I think we found our men's War Games fight. It could be all 5 members of the bloodline. Roman, the Usos, Solo, and Sammy. And the other side is going to be the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Butch, Ridge Holland, Drew McIntyre, and there's going to be one spot left open. However, there's one name instantly that we could think of that would fill that fifth spot. And that name is KO. Kevin Owens, the prize fighter. He's already been in a War Games fight. We already know what he'd be capable of doing if he gets thrown into War Games. Put KO in that War Games cage. Oh my God. Yo, look out. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's going to be nuts. Imagine Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens going at it. Them doing that infamous knuckle meeting of the minds where they just grab each other's head and start bashing each other in the War Games cage. I could see that, man. That would be nuts. Dude, I would be marking out in the War Games because I don't even know how I would handle that commentary. You know, War Games is so unpredictable, so crazy, everything. We've done War Games before. War Games is so unpredictable because remember, starts with 2 men, 5 minutes apiece. Then the winners of a coin toss or a match, and normally they decided by a match, the winner of the match gets to send their second man in. That's a 2-minute interval. And then they interlock until all men are in that cage. Only way to win the War Games? By pinfall or submission. So, who knows how that plays out? That's going to be nuts. So, yeah, it was a great way to close the show. Great way to close it. I thought the brawl was amazing. I loved it. And I love the fact to see the Brawling Brutes in there because this is a perfect team to do it. Yeah, it's War Games, boys. It looks like we're going down that rabbit hole. Anthony Florio, I thought perfect way to close the show with a little bit of some chaos.
There will be some who believe the War Games match should feature more stars to justify its place on the Survivor Series card, but the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre are uber over and should guarantee a damn good match against the Bloodline in the main event of the end of Survivor Series. And it also sets up a scenario where maybe Sheamus can win the match and earn a shot at Roman Reigns, possibly at the Royal Rumble, keeping both men busy as WWE enters its most significant period. That being, of course, as we all know, WrestleMania season. Roman said, it's not easy being my cousin. Reigns said before reminding the world how he has always been acknowledged and celebrated. And you notice Sheamus's mic cut in and out on him a couple of times, leading Roman to improvise and mock him for not even being able to get that to work. And the pop for Drew McIntyre was huge and indicative that his popularity has not waned despite the demoralizing loss to Roman back in September at Clash at the Castle in Cardiff. But man alive, this is going to be something. And I agree, MF. You mentioned about KO rounding out the team with the Brawling Brutes and Drew. I 100% agree with that. I've heard that rumbling as well. So, and that would perhaps make the sense of possibly getting KO and Sami back together. And that could be where, and who knows, I wouldn't be surprised if Sami ends up taking the fall, because I think the Brawling Brute team will win. I could see Sheamus scoring the winning fall, maybe on Sami. And because of that, Sheamus could end up earning a shot at Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble in January at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. So, you know, that would be perfect for him and for Roman. That would keep them busy. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But all I know is that, you know, we're excited. Ever since the announcement was made that War Games was going to be on the Survivor Series card, and not one, but two, a match for the men and the women. I mean, both matches are going to be bangers. Let's be realistic. And I cannot wait to, to witness the, on Peacock in 2 weeks. Got a couple weeks to build it, and hopefully we'll, get more moving pieces going forward. But for right now, great way to close the show. So segment of the night for me. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, look at it. Look at this. The Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, and maybe KO. War Games at Survivor Series. Wow, that's going to be something. Segment of the night for me. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Yeah, segment of the night. I mean, yeah, as soon as you saw, I mean, obviously with the Bloodline, and then of course you had the Brawling Brutes and the returning Sheamus, and then they had the brawl. Then you bring out McIntyre. Is like, I had a feeling that this is going to be War Games when it comes to them. And you put Kevin Owens in there with the Brutes and Drew McIntyre. This is going to be a banger of a men's War Games match. So, yeah, segment of the night, hands down. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, overall review. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
Oh yeah, this was another great show here tonight. That opening match with the tag team titles, that was a classic. TV match of the year, 5 stars. They stole the damn show tonight. I mean, I was very surprised that they started the show with that. We all thought that was going to be the main event, but no, they jumped it with that. And the best part was no screwy finish. That made that even better. That's what really put it over the top for the 5, honestly. That 6-pack for the women, very good. It was solid. And now Ronda's got a fresh new challenger for Survivor Series. That's going to be great. The closeout with the Bloodline and the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre to tease what will very likely be the men's War Games match at Survivor Series and the World Cup tournament. We had one solid match to start it. The other was a delicious squash, and I like the concept of that. That looks good. So I would have to say in excess of about 7.5 to 8 for me. 7.5 to 8. Definitely a very good show tonight, Indianapolis. So 2 weeks left before we get to the big show. My favorite event of the year. So not much more to say here. 7.5 to 8 for me. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 7.5 to 8 for me. I mean, fight of the night, obviously the tag title match. I mean, you had a solid 6-pack to determine the number 1 contender for the Smackdown Women's title. You had a really good closing segment there. So, yeah, 7.5 to 8 for me. Fletch, quickly, let's get to you, and then we'll get into Rampage.
8 out of 10 for me. I thought this was an excellent show, no doubt about it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. We're just going to dive right on in. AEW Rampage, we started it off with Brian Cage versus Dante Martin, and it was Brian Cage winning the match in 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Sorry, folks. I felt it in the nose and I had a sneeze. All right. Solid match. About 2.5 stars was the match. It was entertaining. Flashy offense. Nothing too amazing to talk about. But yeah, it was solid. It was solid for what it was worth more than anything else. But Brian Cage, being that machine that he is, wins the match, no doubt about it. Really nothing more to say. And Anthony, I give it to you.
Yeah, 2.5, 2 3/4. The 21-year-old Dante Martin, Dante put on a valiant performance, but Brian Cage was able to pick up the win to advance to the semifinals of the World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Fun opening bout, but it left a lot of room for the rest of the card to outshine it. And they mentioned that Dante Martin has the 2nd most wins in AEW this year behind champion Jon Moxley, but most of them are on Dark in Elevation because it feels like he has barely been on TV for the last several months. Brian Cage is perfect to pair with high flyers because he is quick on his feet, and could protect them in the big spots. And the way he handled Martin in this bout helped make both men look good. And watching Dante Martin jump right to the top rope and then dive onto his opponents will never get old. I could make a case for 3 here if I wanted to, but it felt more like 2.5 to 2 3/4 because it was only like 7 and change. So yeah, 2.5, 2 3/4. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Brian Cage advancing to the next round of the World Championship Eliminator Tournament.
Yeah, 2.5 stars. I mean, it was a solid match. I mean, to me, the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, Dante Martin, he continues to really impress, but obviously you want to really push Brian Cage here. So, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, with that said, we do move on, and the next one was Bandito going up against Rush. It was Bandito winning the match in 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 3 to 3 1/4 for this matchup. While this match definitely had some sloppy moments, it was a fun sprint between two talented luchadors. If that's your kind of wrestling, MF, you will like this bout. If not, you won't. Roos teasing a running dropkick only to stop short and deliver an insulting kick to the face was a hilarious spot. Roos's missile dropkick almost fell a bit short. He only connected with one leg. The sequence of strikes they exchanged toward the end was a lot of fun, and Roosh hit Bandito with the most protected pile driver ever. Bandito's head wasn't even between his legs. It was above them. Yeesh. But this was about 3 to 3 1/4 stars. Nice win for Bandito. Huge win for him. He advances in the World Championship Eliminator Tournament. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Bullock?
Bullock, are you there? All right.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3 1/4 for this match. I mean, it was a good match, but the outcome was never in doubt. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I'll say about 3. Solid, nothing overly spectacular. It could have been a lot more better, but it was what it was. Solid action, no doubt about it. We'll just move on. Then we had Nyla Rose. She basically squashed Kayla Sparks in about 45 seconds. There was really nothing more to add there. And then we did get ourselves the main event, which was Lee Johnson versus Orange Cassidy for the All Atlantic Championship. Orange Cassidy wins the match in 9 minutes. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Another 3-star match for me. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, with Orange Cassidy, of course, retaining the championship here. So, there's nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
3 to 3 1/4. You can make an argument for 3.5. This was a solid main event. The match was good. It could have been a lot more better, but at the end of the day, I thought they did a really good job, and it was well done. Orange Cassidy is such a star in AEW, and there's really nothing more to say. So good for what it was worth. Nothing more to say, and so Anthony, it's yours.
3 1/4 for this as well. While the in-ring action was a lot of fun, this match had way too much going on outside the ring. While it makes sense for their stables to accompany them to the ring, AEW relies way too much on outside interference and distractions these days. It's fun when used sparingly, but when it becomes something that happens on almost every single show, it might need to be dialed back a bit. It was a good thing that QT Marshall mentioned that Lee Johnson was coming home instead of joining the factory for the first time. A lot of people might not have even realized he was no longer in the group until he returned to it. Johnson has packed on some muscle. If you look at him from when he first showed up in AEW compared to now, he is much bigger than he used to be. And I think he should be on TV more, even if he is used to put others over. He's a great hand in the rings. So 3 to 3 1/4. Let's get to the overall review quick.
All right. Bullock, quick thought, or
Did
actually no, Bullock led off. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Overall, yeah, I'd probably say 7 out of 10. I think the only bad match of the night had to be, and I'll openly admit it, I thought the only bad match of the entire night was indeed the Nyla Rose fight. Other than that, solid to good, nothing amazing. 7 out of 10. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, this was. I'm actually going to go a little lower. I'm leaning more towards 6.5 to 7 for this. Solid, not overly spectacular, but then again, it was the usual taped Rampage show. But next week's will be live, because next week is Full Gear week, and I can't wait for it. So not much more to say on that. 6.5 to 7. Bullet taking home.
Yeah, I'll give it about 6.5 as well. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's call it a night, Fletch.
Yeah, that's it. We're out of here, guys. So tonight we're calling it here, and we're getting on out of here. So yeah, so I think it's gonna be on. It's tomorrow night. It's NFL Saturday, hosted by Anthony Florio. He'll be once again back, and we'll be doing this all over again. So we're gonna be covering week number 10, I believe, of the NFL season.
Yep.
Week 10, and then from there. Monday night we do it all over again. It'll be ridiculously raw. Then Wednesday night, madness. Thursday college football. Friday cerebral smack talk. And this time around, we'll be previewing Full Gear on the show right here 1 week from tonight. And then of course Saturday is NFL Saturday, and then I believe Sunday is the recap of the show. Is it the when's the show? Saturday night or is it Sunday?
Full Gear is next Saturday, the 19th.
All right, then the recap will be on that Sunday, the 20th. So we'll have that. Guys, we're out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night.